after the other. You know, something happened last week that came down on Thursday that everyone missed in the media. Do you remember a year ago an unarmed African-American woman lost her way in Washington, D.C. and drove in circles with an infant in the back of her car, her infant, in a baby seat. She got lost in the maze around the White House, and she was executed by the park police. Do you remember that? They violated all the laws that were in place of never firing into a car that was stopped. They fired into the car and killed her. Do you remember that? They were found not guilty. All the police were let off the hook. By who? By Eric Holder's Justice Department. This is Eric Holder, the chief legal officer of the United States, held no one responsible for executing an African-American woman who got lost in the maze around the White House? Why'd they kill her? She was screaming Obama was the father of her baby. Now, that's crazy. She was delusional. We know that. But she was no threat to anyone. She was lost. She was confused. She was dazed. And they killed her. Nobody went to jail. Not one word from Marble-mouthed Jesse Hyde Jackson. Not one word from the weight loss expert on MSNBC, the Freddie's Fashion Mart talk show host. You remember the African-American woman last year? Raise your hands in the audience if you know what I'm talking about. She got lost outside the White House. She was driven in circles. The park police, Secret Service chased her. They cornered her. She had a baby in the back, and they shot into the car and executed her. There was a hearing, a whitewash, worse than the hearing about who killed JFK. This was worse than the Warren Commission. And they said that all men who shot her were innocent. Why did... Nobody was guilty, Neil. Do we have that? We have to find it when I come back. I'll be back in a minute. Terrifying video of Moment. A mentally ill woman, she's an African-American woman, and that's very important, rammed White House barricade is released as officers who shot her dead are cleared of criminal charges. It's from Mail Online. I put it on michaelsavage.com. It came out only Thursday in the middle of another scandal. The images were released Thursday by by Holder's U.S. Attorney's Office. Okay? They come as the officers who fatally shot Miriam Carey after a high-speed car chase learned they will not face criminal charges. Prosecutors spent months investigating the shooting of Miss Carey. They concluded, listen to this, that officers from the Secret Service and the Capitol Police did not use excessive force. You mean executing an unarmed woman is not excessive force? We're living in an upside-down universe. Listen to this. They concluded that officers from the Secret Service and the Capitol Police did not use excessive force and did not have the criminal intent required for prosecution. That's total garbage. We have the images of her running the barrier. We have the images of her going in circles, jumping the barricades near the White House. Yes, she did that. But then they stopped her. They stopped her. The officer and another officer from the Secret Service come up to the car after it stopped. Are you listening? They come up to the car, and they fire 9 rounds each into the car. The car crashes into a kiosk and comes to a rest. She had a baby in the back. She suffered 5 gunshot wounds to her neck and torso, one of which was fatal. This woman was a mentally ill person, had been diagnosed with postpartum depression and psychosis. In the months before the Washington incident, this woman told police officers at her Connecticut apartment that President Obama had communicated with her and had set up cameras to record her life for national news outlets. Obviously, she was psychotic. She was not under the influence of drugs or alcohol at the time. So a mentally ill African-American woman, unarmed, goes in circles, drives directly at the barriers, drives directly at a Capitol Police officer, and these crazy Nazis from the Secret Service fire 9 rounds into a car with a baby in it and kill her. And they're not prosecuted. Now listen to this. To build a criminal prosecution, the government would have had to have proven that the so-called officers used excessive force and willfully and intentionally broke the law by shooting her. U.S. Attorney Ron Macon said in a statement that something that you would have heard out of Nazi Germany. Listen, quote, accident, mistake, fear, negligence, and bad judgment do not establish such a criminal violation, the office of U.S. Attorney Ron Macon said in a statement. But a lawyer for the woman, Eric Sanders, said in a statement that the Justice Department's decision to exonerate the murderers was not surprising and does not affect her family's legal position in a wrongful death lawsuit against the Secret Service and Capitol Police. This came out Thursday night. They released the story and the pictures. Everyone missed it because Obama had engulfed us in another scandal. It was from Mail Online. We have no press left in the United States of America except the Internet. There's no newspapers left at all. We have to turn to England for our news. Strangely enough, isn't it? They don't even have the First Amendment, but yet they have a news business. We have the images of the shooting and the whole story of the execution of an unarmed, mentally ill African-American woman released by the government. All the officers who executed her were found not guilty. Have a nice day. It's the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation.